If you're on Social Security or disability benefits, there is finally good news. It is estimated that your cost of living adjustment for 2026 is going up. And that has been the breaking news over the last couple of days. And I am seeing that in every major news organization. I am going to share some of that with you. But then there is a slight wrinkle with that. There is a surprise associated with that increase. And that is what I want to talk to you about today, because it is equally important to know what is going to happen after the increase so that you can prepare for that surprise. My name is Kwame Kwade. I am a government benefits expert. I have been helping seniors get the retirement benefit they deserve over the last 15 years. I cover topics including Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, food stamps, and any personal finance issue that affects seniors. Trust that I am going to bring it to you. If you're new here, I am glad you're here. Do me a favor and go into the comment section and let me know your city and your state, because I like to know where you guys are watching this broadcast from. And if you've been watching this channel for a while, I am glad you are back here. But let's dive into the breaking news. So here's the deal. There's two things happening right now that is pushing the Social Security cost of living adjustment up for 2026. They are calling it the Trump bump. It means that the Trump increase is coming for your COLA next year. And there are two things that are happening that is pushing that forward. The first one is that inflation has started creeping up again. In June, the government announced that inflation, year over year inflation, meaning that if they're comparing prices of goods and services from last year, June, to this year, June, prices have gone up. There are many reasons economists think that why this is happening, but here's the truth. If prices are going up, it means that your Social Security cost of living adjustment is also going to go up, because it just happens that the government usually looks at cost of living changes for June, July, August, and September in order to announce your cost of living adjustment in October. So as inflation begins to rise, as economists are expecting, you should expect that the October Social Security cost of living adjustment will get the Trump bump and also go up. But here is the big surprise that I want to talk to you about, because I think a lot of seniors have been experiencing this and I want to address it head on. So, even though your Social Security cost of living adjustment is supposed to go up, there is something else that is also going up, which is your Medicare Part B premium. And I want to highlight this article and then we can read it together so that you can understand what this means for you, because you may be in a situation where you are getting an increase, but then also that increase may be eaten up by something else. So this is the Austin American Statesman. That's the leading newspaper in Austin, Texas. And it's saying that Social Security COLA up to 2.7%. That is the projection for your cost of living adjustment for 2026. Now, it may go up even further, because depending on the inflation number that comes in for July and August and September, your cost of living adjustment could be way past 3% by the time we get to it. But the problem is that right now, the cost of living adjustment is also being affected by Medicare Part B premium. And before I go into further than that, if you're watching live and I can see you guys right now, if you are new here, let me know your city and your state. So go into the comment section and just share that, because I really do like to know where you guys are watching this broadcast from. So let's read this article together from the Austin American Statesman. So it's saying that Social Security provides benefits to 74 million Americans, including retirees, veterans, and their dependents each year. The cost of living adjustment, or COLA, is intended to help recipients keep up with inflation and maintain their standard of living. But many seniors say the increase is not enough, especially as Medicare premiums alone continue to rise at a faster rate. This was the case in 2025 and is expected to happen again. That is what I want to talk to you about, because here is the deal. Even though cost of living adjustment is projected to be higher than it was in 2025, which is good news, the whole Trump bump that they're talking about, that is good news. We also have to pay attention to where do you end up at the end of the day? When you get your cost of living adjustment and you get your Medicare Part B premium, are you getting an increase after it's all said and done, or are you getting a decrease because your cost of living adjustment is all eaten up by your Medicare Part B premium? That is a common problem that seniors have been having. And so let's read the article and see what it's saying about where your Medicare Part B premium is going to be. And then we can do the math together and figure out whether you can be excited for next year, or you can begin to call your congressman or woman and let them know that you need a real Social Security increase, because I have watched this happen more than enough time to know that they can give you a cost of living adjustment with one hand and then take your Medicare Part B premium and shoot it up in another hand, and then it evens out and cancels out, and sometimes it sets you back. So I'm going to go back to that article and read some more so that we can get to the bottom of this. So here we go. Now, all right, here we go. Okay. Now it's saying that Social Security, okay, we read that. Although benefits are initially based on the worker's earnings, their value could erode over time without adjustment. To prevent this, Congress passed legislation in 1973 that introduced automatic annual COLA increases, which began in 1975. So Congress passed this bill to help you get an annual increase when cost of living goes up. The problem is that the calculation, how they calculate your cost of living adjustment, is problematic on its own. And I'm going to talk about that later. But let's continue to dig in about what this article is talking about regarding your cost of living. So it goes on to say that for the size of the adjustment varies each year. In 2024, the COLA was 3.2%, and for 2025, it dropped to 2.5%. It is not uncommon for Medicare Part B premium to consume much or even all of the annual COLA, leaving little extra to cover other big increases. Mary Johnson, an independent Social Security and Medicare policy analyst, told the USA Today. So, what is the COLA estimate and what is the Medicare Part B premium? This is where I want you to pay attention. While several months of inflation data are still pending, current estimates suggest a 2.57 COLA increase for 2025, adding roughly $50 a month to the average Social Security benefit. But with Medicare Part B premium projected to rise by 11.6%, those with the lowest benefit, including children, spouses, SSI recipient, will be pretty much hard hit. For low-cost beneficiaries receiving $850 to $900 a month, nearly the entire COLA will be offset by the premium hike, leaving them with just $1 to $3 more each month. Guys, let's process this. So they're essentially saying that some seniors are at risk of getting only $1 to $3 a month increase in Social Security benefits or disability benefits after it's all said and done when you include the Medicare Part B premium. That is the disturbing part that I wanted to talk to you about. So let's continue reading the article. If the COLA is 2.6% and Part B premium is 21.5%, would absorb the full adjustment for anyone receiving $800 or less. This is especially true for individuals who rely on low Social Security retirement, spousal, and survival benefits. Even without considering Medicare premium increases, this amount is far below what is needed to maintain purchasing power and falls significantly short of covering the rising costs for older adults. A study by the Senior Citizens League shows retirees would need an extra $374 $70 a month to match the buying power they had in 2010. So what essentially is happening, guys, is that seniors have lost a significant amount of their purchasing power since 2010. And the Senior Citizens League, which is a very trusted, well-respected, non-partisan organization that advocates for seniors, is saying that right now in 2025, if the federal government, Congress, the president wants to really do right by seniors, if they want to really make sure that seniors are taken care of, and remember, I mentioned in my previous video that 50% of seniors are not going to benefit at all from the big, beautiful bill and the $6,000 tax deduction. That is not going to be helpful to 50% of you. So the cost of living adjustment is what a lot of you are looking forward to. And here they are saying that after the Medicare Part B premium part is taken into consideration, some of you are going to get $1 to $3 increase. But here's what the Senior Citizens League are saying, that if Congress wants to restore what you've lost due to inflation, because remember, inflation is always higher than your actual cost of living adjustment, and it has been consistently that way. And I have mentioned this before, there are bills in front of Congress to try to fix that, but it never goes anywhere. But the truth is that since the last 10, 15 years, seniors have lost a lot of their purchasing power because every year they fall behind because inflation, true inflation, is always higher than the cost of living adjustment you got. So the Senior Citizens League is saying that you are going to need $370 adjustment right now in order for Congress to make up for what you've lost. $370. And so if the Social Security cost of living adjustment for the average retiree is $50 next year, it means that you are $320 short of where you should be just for inflation. Let's not even address the fact that your Social Security benefits is low to begin with, but just to catch you up to where you need to be when it comes to inflation, you need $370 adjustment right now. And so remember, I've told you that there are some bills in front of Congress that can provide Social Security increases. One of them will give you a $200 increase right now. So essentially what the Senior Citizens League is saying is that even that $200 increase is not going to restore what seniors have lost in just inflation eating up your Social Security check over the last decade or so. So let me know what you think about all of this. Do you think it's fair that they will give you a Social Security cost of living adjustment of 2.7% next year, but then turn around and raise your Medicare Part B premium by 11%? The same government that is telling you that inflation is trending downwards, and so you only get 2.7% increase in your Social Security benefit. The same government turns around and tells you, but we're going to charge you 11%, 11.6% increase in your Medicare Part B premium, and then say that with a straight face. So why am I telling you all this? Well, it is important for you to know what is coming. And while they are saying that you're going to get a Trump bump, which is a Trump increase in your Social Security cost of living adjustment, that increase will be consumed entirely for some of you, for some seniors, by the cost of Medicare Part B premiums. And you don't have a choice in that because the Part B premium is taken out of your Social Security check. So it's not like you can even negotiate or opt out of it. It is something you have to pay. So what can be done? Well, stay tuned. I'm going to walk you through what can be done to fix this. But I have a couple of things I want to share with you. The first one is that I made a big announcement yesterday. We launched a membership group, a community that some of you have been asking for. That is going to be a place where seniors can, be in a community with other seniors, other like-minded people that are going through the same thing. And we're going to be bringing experts. We're going to be sharing additional resources. Obviously, the videos we're doing here on YouTube are free. We've been sharing a ton of resources on our website, benefitsinsider.co, but we're taking it to the next level. We want to create a community. So we launched yesterday, and there are 45 spots left to get in for the founder introductory prize. And so I'm going to post the link in the comment section. If you're looking for a community to be a part of, that is going to give you the resources, senior savings, financial assistance information you may not even be aware of, programs that are out there to help you, bring experts to come and talk about things that seniors care about, retirement, assisted living situation, insurance, senior scams, personal finance, all these topics that can be covered in an in-depth way to educate you and help you maximize your Social Security. If that is of interest to you, that is what we're going to be doing in this private community. So let me share information with you very quickly about that, and then we can move on. So basically, it's a membership community for seniors. It's going to be on the school platform, and it's going to allow me to be able to go beyond what is possible on YouTube or on TikTok. We're going to dive deeper into topics that seniors care about. And the goal is to help you unlock every dollar, every discount, and advantage that you deserve. So, as I mentioned, there's 45 spots left to be able to get it at $10 a month. And once that is filled, we are going to then raise the price, because this is going to be a community that I'm going to be spending a lot of time on, and my team is going to be spending a lot of time on, to pour a lot of resources in to help you maximize your retirement. So I'm going to put that in the link and in the description if you're interested. Good. But here's the thing. We are not this is a level up, because we're trying to level up our game to create a community for seniors to be able to get the value, additional value beyond what we provide here on YouTube. So we're going to continue to come here every day and give you the news and updates and everything that is relevant to you, that is going to be helpful to you. That is not going to change. This is just another layer we're adding to it. So if you're interested, you will see the link in the comments section below. All right, so now let's go to talking about something that the AARP released today about how seniors feel about their Social Security. So hang with me for a second, and I will bring that up because I think this is important. And part of the work that we're doing is advocating for some of these policies to make sure that Social Security is strengthened. And I've always mentioned that this website and this channel is not political. We are not political. All we know is one language, and that Social Security is necessary and Social Security should be strengthened. And so any political party that is going to do that, we are going to support that. And that is what we want. We want Social Security to be strengthened. So when I see news like this, I want to bring it to you because it's important that you know what seniors are thinking. The AARP says new survey shows confidence in the future of Social Security among younger adults at a 15-year low. So why are younger people fearing about the future of Social Security? 15-year low. So let's review that. In a new report released today ahead of the Social Security's 90th anniversary, reveals Americans' confidence in the future of Social Security has declined by 7 percentage points in the last 5 years, from 43% in 2020 to 36% in 2025. This is the lowest since 2010, when confidence in Social Security was at 35%. Younger adults are generally less confident. Just 25% of people between 18 and 49 are confident in the program's future, compared to 48% of those 50 and older. The report shows that more than 2/3 of Americans view Social Security as more important to retirees today than 5 years ago. Overall, 96% of Americans consider Social Security important, with broad agreement across party line. 98% of Democrats, 95% of Republicans, and 93% of independents all say the same. So my question is, why are younger people or younger demographic not confident in the future of Social Security? What do you think is going on? Well, I can tell you my speculation of why confidence is at an all-time low, at least over the last 10 years. The first reason is because a drum beat of we've been getting a drum beat of people saying that Social Security is going bankrupt. Social Security is going bankrupt. Well, that is why a lot of young people feel that it's not going to be around for them. And so no, it is because the confidence has been shaken. Their confidence has been shaken because they are being told that Social Security is going bankrupt. And that line is actually not true. Social Security is not going bankrupt completely. The trust fund is going to run out of money. And when that happens, seniors are going to get an automatic 19 to 23% cut in benefits. So that means that if Congress does not do anything, then that is going to happen. So it doesn't mean that that should happen unless senior, politicians have courage. Politicians have political courage to do the right thing. Then we don't have to get there. But it looks like they're going to wait till the end or to the very end before they take action. And that is providing younger generations with less confidence that Social Security is going to be around. I think that's one of the reasons. The second reason is also that there's been a lot of talk about privatization of Social Security. And politicians like to say, oh, Social Security is such a burden on the government, and so we want to just go to private accounts. And there's all this talk that erase confidence in people who are paying into the system right now, feeling like it's probably not going to be around when they are ready for it. And so that is one of the reasons why I think confidence is so low. But let me read a few lines of this so that we can get into the details of it. So it is saying that for 90 years, Social Security has been stable and reliable foundation for the retirement security for millions of Americans, and the survey findings reinforce that Social Security's reputation as the most successful and popular initiative in American history. Now, for example, in Connecticut, nearly 722,000 people count on Social Security they've earned to be there when they need it. 35% of Connecticut residents only rely on Social Security for about 50% of their income, and for 16%, it is 90% of their income. And what I'm finding out is that more and more seniors are relying on Social Security as the only source of income. And that number keeps growing because of just the economic reality of saving money in a high inflation era where you feel like you can never get ahead. And then the next thing you know, you are 62 and now you have to file for Social Security and you have very little savings, and Social Security becomes the bulk of the money that you depend on. So that is another thing I wanted to bring to your attention regarding Social Security and what's happening with it in terms of public confidence. Now, if you have any thoughts at all about this, I want to hear from you in the comment section below. And my thought is that if the government wants to provide confidence, or if the government wants to help people feel confident about Social Security, then it comes from how they are communicating what's going to happen when Social Security reaches 2033, when it runs out of money. The trust fund runs out of money, and then what's going to happen? So anyway, some of you are talking about what is the link to the membership community. I'm going to share it in the comment section below. And I want to emphasize this. We are going to continue to provide free resources here. We're committed to that. That's our mission. But a lot of you have reached out to us and said you wanted an elevated experience. You wanted more, a community where you can be a part of and be able to also interact with each other, learn from each other. We can bring experts to help you. And that's why we set up this school community. And so it is an additional, I want to emphasize that it does not replace what we do here. So we're going to bringing you right away when you sign up. There is almost $100 bonus that you're going to get right away when you sign up. So I've put the link in the comment section. Those who are interested can sign up. But let me go to the third thing I wanted to talk to you about today, and that is inflation. Okay, so the government is saying that inflation is going up. What does that mean for you, and how can you prepare for that? And I want to talk about that with you because I think that there's been miscommunication around inflation, and a lot of seniors are confused about what to believe. So I want to separate the fact from the hype so that you understand what's happening with inflation, and I can share some data with you that can help you process what is happening with the inflation issue. So, first of all, um, there is news that came out that inflation is going up. And then we saw this data that highlights prices that are going up. I have shared this before. If you haven't seen this, this is an estimate of prices that have gone up in the last couple of months compared to last year. So whenever you hear that inflation is at an all-time low, well, that narrative has changed because it has started going up again. And the thing I want to emphasize on this graph is that things that affect seniors have started to also go up. So if you look on that list, you have medical care commodities have gone up in prices. Physician services have gone up in prices. So if you go to see your doctor, that cost has gone up. Food has gone up. And then hospital services has also gone up. And then when you look closely, electricity has gone up, which one of seniors have been complaining about a lot about electricity costs going up across the country. Well, we have evidence from the government that that is indeed what's been happening. And then rent is also up. So when you really think about the senior budget, rent is up, food is up, hospital services are up, physician services are up, medical supplies and commodities are up. And so pretty much the big category of expenses that seniors spend their money on is up. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, I'm sharing this with you because I want you to understand that this is going to impact you, and that when they're talking about the cost of living adjustment that's about to happen, we want to make sure that Congress is doing right by you, and that nobody's telling you that inflation is down and so you're going to get a tiny increase, and that this is now the time. When you go to the town hall meetings, it's August, and Congress shut down today, and politicians are going to be holding town hall meetings in your community. Hopefully this is where you go to them and ask them a pointed question. And the question you should be asking them is this: based on a survey by the Senior Citizens League, which I shared with you, and I'll pull it up again. I'll share that in my screen again so that you can see. Let me pull that up. So this is the question you should be asking them. Based on a survey by the Senior Citizens League, which is I don't think you're seeing that. Sorry. Let me remove this. All right, and then add this. There we go. So the Senior Citizens League is saying that you need $370 extra per month just to match the buying power that seniors had in 2010. And so when you go to a town hall meeting and a politician is telling you that, hey, there's nothing we can do, so inflation has come down, so Social Security COLA is going to be small, you have to confront them with this fact that seniors have lost their purchasing power. The amount of goods and services you can buy with your Social Security benefit in 2010 up until today, you've lost $370 of that. And so, at minimum, Congress needs to restore that. We're not even talking about the fact that the average Social Security benefit is $1,900 and senior citizens need $2,900 just to make ends meet. Regardless of where you live in the United States, you need minimum $2,900 according to a government survey to be able to just survive if you don't have a mortgage. If you're just paying rent, you need $2,900. The average Social Security benefit is $1,905 or $8. So we are not even talking about what to do about the average benefit. We're just talking about catching us up to where we were in 2010 and the fact that inflation has eaten up senior citizens and their paycheck up until now by the tune of $370 according to the Senior Citizens League. So these are some of the questions you should be asking politicians when they come to the town hall meetings and they're telling you all these things about what they've done, and this is what you need to bring to them. What are they going to do about that? What are they going to do about your cost of living adjustment and the money that you've lost over the last 10 years? That's what I'm interested in. So I wanted to make sure that you got that. Now, I did mention that there is something they can do. There is a lot actually they can do. So let's talk about what Congress can do when they come back in order to make it up to seniors and bring you up to where you need to be. And I've talked about some of these bills already because I don't like to talk about things that are just ideas. I want to think about things that are actual reality that has possibility of getting passed. So the first thing they can do if they want to help seniors is to pass the Social Security Expansion Act. That bill has been around for the last couple of years, and the suggestion in the Social Security Expansion Act was to give seniors a $200 raise a month. Whether you're on Social Security or disability benefit, it doesn't matter. You're going to get a $200 increase. In my opinion, based on what we just learned from the Senior Citizens League, that needs to be bumped up to $370 because that is just fair. That catches you up to where you need to be and the money that you've lost due to inflation. That is just plain fair. So they have to pass the Social Security Expansion Act and increase the amount from $200 a month to $370. There is bipartisan support for this bill across both houses of Congress. You can Google it and read more about it. And here's the good thing about the Social Security Expansion Act. It pays for itself by doing something that politicians have refused to do for a long time that could actually save Social Security. And that is removing the earnings limit on Social Security taxable income. What does that mean? Well, you may know this, but Social Security taxes only apply to the first $176,100 of income. So in 2025, if you make up to $176,100, you will pay Social Security taxes on that. But anything above that, you don't have to pay Social Security taxes on any amount above that. So let's say you make $300,000 in income. Your first $176,100, you are required to pay Social Security taxes, 6.2%. The rest of the money, you don't have to pay Social Security taxes. Well, the problem is that less people are working and paying Social Security taxes than they ever did before. And number two, more people are claiming Social Security benefits than they ever did before. And so it's creating a crisis. It's creating a deficit. It's a $200 billion deficit. And that deficit each year is being taken out of the Social Security Trust Fund. Now, the Social Security Trust Fund is kind of like the Social Security Rainy Day Fund. Well, that Rainy Day Fund is not endless. It's not going to last forever. if you take 20 billion out of it, 200 billion out of it every year, it's going to run out of money by 2032. By that time, if nothing is done, Congress will then the Social Security Administration will have to cut Social Security benefit up to 23%. One way to avoid that and extend the lifespan of Social Security for another 75 years is to remove the cap completely so that all income is subject to Social Security taxes. If you make $500,000, you pay Social Security taxes. If you make $1 million, you pay Social Security taxes on all of it. If you make $1 billion, you pay Social Security taxes on all of it. That is the idea. So the Social Security Expansion Act seeks to raise the limit, not even eliminate it, raise it to $250,000 from $176,000. I am saying it needs to just be eliminated completely because that's just kicking the can further. But even by moving it from 176,000 to 250,000, it will save Social Security by 75 years and put $200 in your pocket right now. So in my opinion, that is the first thing they can do if they're looking for something to do to help seniors. The second thing is to pass the Social Security 2100 Act. Now, if you are getting less than $1,000 in Social Security benefits, or you're getting around 1,000 to 1,200, pay attention to this bill. The Social Security 2100 Act is going to solve an important problem that seniors have been facing with benefits, and the fact that a lot of seniors are living in poverty as a result. Now, what does that mean to live in poverty? Well, the government, based on their own data, have issued a chart each year that tells you who they consider to be living in poverty. If you're making less than $15,000 in 2025, the US government considers you to be living in poverty. So if you're getting $1,000 in Social Security benefit, you're definitely living in poverty, according to the government. I mean, we already know that, but the government data is supporting that. So what does this mean when I say Social Security 2100 Act? Well, this bill, which is another bill that is sitting there in Congress that they were supposed to do something about, but never to get around to doing something about it, is supposed to lift millions of seniors out of poverty and give you an extra $660 a month increase for those that are getting the minimum benefit. Now, remember, early this year, they passed the Social Security Social Security Fairness Act, and it was supposed to fix a 40-year problem for government employees that had paid into Social Security and paid into government pensions and were eligible for both, but were denied one or were severely reduced when it came to their Social Security portion of their benefit. It's been a 40-year problem. Firefighters, police officers, government workers, local, state, federal, and they've been fighting this for a long time. Well, Congress finally did something about it. And so if you were part of the 3 million people that were impacted by the WEP, GPO, you received a $6,000 lump sum payment because the government went all the way back to 2024, January, to make it up to them. And on top of that, they give you a $360 to $1,100 increase on top of the $6,000 lump sum that they sent you. And look, I'm not hating on that. If you fought a 40-year battle with the government and you won and they finally did the right thing for you, good for you. I'm glad that all those public sector workers got what they earned and deserved. But the point I'm trying to make is that it shows that Congress knows how to take action and right some wrongs. And they've demonstrated that with the Social Security Fairness Act, which they passed very quickly by a large majority in both chambers, on a bipartisan level. So the same bipartisan spirit that they are using to pass the Social Security Fairness Act, they should put that in passing the Social Security Expansion Act, which will increase benefits by $200 across the board for Social Security, disability, spousal, survivor benefit. Everybody on Social Security and disability will get that increase. And then on top of that, I was saying that there is a whole category of seniors that are living in poverty that need more help. And the Social Security 2100 Act is the solution. It will bump you to 125% of what the government considers as the poverty level. So each year, whatever the government say is the poverty level number for a single person, you will get 25% more on top of that as your Social Security benefit. That solves the problem for those who are getting the minimum benefit and are struggling to make ends meet. So I'm going to go into the comment section and see if there's anything that I can answer for you. I did put in the, here we go. All right, I have rents. So a lot of you are sharing, you're sharing your costs, and that's good. No, I want to hear from you. How much are you paying in rent? How much are you paying in electricity? I can see a lot of that in the comments. I live in Texas. I only get $1,207 a month. That is Dorothy Ross. I'm seeing Elizabeth Costello. My rent went also a little over 1,000. Let's see here. So yeah, so it makes the point. It makes sense that rent is up, and Kathleen Westlake, Congress is not going to do any of those suggestions to help seniors. Well, here's the thing. So let's talk about that. So let me put this up. Let me put this up so that we can all see it. So this is Kathleen Westlake, but Congress is not going to do any of those suggestions to help seniors. Why do you think that is? Let's talk about it, because we are the ones that are electing them and putting them in office. And seniors are a large voting bloc. And seniors consistently vote in higher percentage than any other group, any other demographic. And so why is it that they get in office and a lot of seniors are struggling? I hear heartbreaking stories, guys. I'm going to share some of them with you today if we have time. I hear a lot of heartbreaking stories, and sometimes I'll be reading the comments and then I get depressed because it's like I don't think that any senior citizen that has, paid into Social Security, paid their taxes, worked 30, 40 years, and finally retired should live in poverty. I just don't think that is right. And I also think that it is kind of a slap in the face because you played by the rules. You did what you thought was right. You paid your taxes, you worked hard, and the only reason you're living in poverty is because you worked a low wage job. And so now, after all these years you've paid into a retirement benefit system, now you're living in poverty. So I think that it should be a priority. And the reason why maybe they don't do anything about it is because maybe there are no consequences. you know, um, there are no consequences. Like what. I know. Bridget Robinson, this video is making me depressed. Sorry, but I don't think I can take it in. No. Okay, that is not my goal. My goal is not to bring you down. My goal is to educate you, to let you know what is out there, what is coming, so that you can make your voices heard, because they do listen if enough of us make noise. They do listen, but like, we have to make noise. We have to show up at the town hall meeting. We have to call them out when they are speaking with both sides of their mouths. We have to show them the data, the evidence. And I've given you some evidence today that says that in order to just catch seniors up to where they were inflation wise, they need to increase Social Security by $370. That is actual data from a reputable organization that is not partisan. So you can cite that data to show that, you know, they understand, you understand what you're talking about, and that you have you have the facts to support it. And let me see here. This person wants to pay a monthly fee, saying, but now I am not asking you to pay a monthly fee. The membership site is all our content is free. Here, when I do the video here, is free. We also have a free Facebook community that we are launching. That's going to be free. So a lot of what we do is free, and it's going to be continued to be free. The membership community came about because a lot of you asked for it, and we took. I mean, we've been doing this for 15 years. We finally found a platform that we can host it, which is school, the school platform, and that's why we went ahead and did it. So no, I am not asking you to pay a monthly fee. When I come here every single day and create content on YouTube, I am not asking you to pay anything. I just share what I learned, and I'm sharing it with the because I enjoy doing and creating content. But the membership site is an additional service we provide. And for those who are interested, who wants to be part of a community, who wants to learn more, who wants to go further, we're going to be bringing expert. We're going to share a lot of deeper topics that we could not share here because it's just not conducive for this environment. So no, we're not asking you to pay a fee. I want to make clear of that. We even have a free Facebook community, and we're going to still be pouring a lot of resources into that because that's what we do. Anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is about, you know, Congress and the third bill that I think should be passed this year. So if you're tracking the bills that I'm talking about three different bills. The first one is the Social Security Expansion Act. The second one is the Social Security 2100 Act. The third one is to do something about COLA, cost of living adjustment. There is a bill actually proposed in the Senate, and there's a different bill proposed in the House, but they're both supposed to do the same thing, is to fix how cost of living adjustments are calculated. And that is what I want to talk about next, because that is one thing that I think has eaten up and caused a lot of seniors to lose part of their money. So currently, you may not know this, but Social Security calculates your cost of living adjustment not based on the cost that seniors are facing, not based on things that seniors struggle with or see that takes up a lot of your budget. That is not what they do. They are looking at costs that urban wage earners are facing. I don't know how this came to be, but when they calculate your cost of living adjustment, they are looking at an inflation index for urban wage earners. They are not looking at inflation index for senior citizens. And so what ends up happening is that they are looking at things of prices of goods and services that do not necessarily affect seniors. Or if you want to put it another way, it fails to capture price increases that seniors are experiencing. And so you may be experiencing a lot of, cost increases in, let's say, a home care aid. Okay, that's another cost that seniors are facing, where somebody comes and helps you with house chores or all these things. That's a cost that seniors face that are unique to them. You may be experiencing costs that have to do with, higher deductibles and copays that have to do with Medicare related costs, because at a certain age, seniors are facing specific costs that the general population does not experience. So there are specific things that affect seniors that the general population doesn't, but the inflation index that they are using to calculate your cost of living adjustment does not reflect that. And so when we say that over the last couple of years, they've missed about $370 in payment to you just because of how inflation is always higher than your cost of living adjustment, is because the formula itself is problematic. And so what I'm saying is that there are bills in Congress to fix that. And one of them is supposed to propose a new formula called the CPIE. Excuse me, and the E stands for elderly. So they are going to move from CPIW. The current one is called CPIW to a CPIE. And the E version is going to track price changes in goods and services that affect seniors. That way, when they are looking at comparing prices for this year versus prices from the previous year, they're actually looking at goods and services that affect seniors on a regular basis. That is how they are going to catch you up to inflation. And when you hear them talk about it, they will tell you that there is no material difference in whether you use CPIE or CPIW. That's what people who are against changing the system will tell you. They're like, oh, there's no difference between doing the two. Well, that's a big lie. And I'll tell you why. The first defense against that lie is that it's about what I shared with you earlier. If Social Security cost of living adjustment next year is going to go up, and they're estimating at 2.7%, but then they're telling you that your Medicare Part B premium is going to go up by 11.6%. And I just shared that with you from the article that I shared. That alone is the argument that calls out the lie in what they're saying. Because if there is no difference between the CPIE and the CPIW, then your Medicare Part B premium should also be 7%. It should go up by 7%. Why is it going up by 11.6%? It tells me that there are certain costs that are higher and are growing higher than inflation. And one of them is Medicare premiums and Medicare related costs, healthcare related costs, home health related costs that affect seniors, and that never get factored into the CPIW because you are looking at urban wage earners, people who are in urban areas that are working. They're not looking at seniors and the costs that they face. So that will be my argument against that. I think it's not true. So that is the third bill that they should pass, which is the changing how COLA is calculated so that you can at least get what you deserve and match it to inflation, while we talk about how to increase your cost of living and your monthly benefit. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is for those of you who may have gotten a cut in your Social Security benefit, let's talk about it, because this month some people saw a 50% decrease in their Social Security check. So let's talk about it. So did you get a 50% overpayment? You could see up to 50% cut in your July benefits. And a lot of you have been reporting this to me, that you went into your account and saw that half of your Social Security check is gone. And so let's talk about it, because it is a growing problem. And so I'm going to read this article to you because I think it highlights the big problem of what's happening. So it says, for Social Security recipients, upcoming benefit checks might arrive in a less amount, as the Social Security Administration is expected to begin withholding 50% of the benefits for those who have been overpaid but have not yet begin repayment. Meanwhile, some others may have recently gotten a bump in their benefits. So if you see that 50% of your check is gone, is because your Social Security Administration is saying that you have an overpayment situation. Overpayment can happen when Social Security Administration incorrectly calculates a person's benefit. For example, a beneficiary fails to update a change in income. One of the reasons why people get into overpayment situation is because there's an income change. You are getting Social Security before your full retirement age. You are working, and Social Security is not updating your earnings because when you pass a certain threshold, your benefit is supposed to be reduced. For every $2 you go over that threshold, they're supposed to cut your benefit by $1. If you're on disability benefits and you are in the trial work period, you're working and claiming disability benefits, there is something called the substantial gainful activity limit. If you go over that, your benefits could be at risk. And so that's how people get into an overpayment situation where the income reporting is not catching up to, or the Social Security Administration is not on top of it. And then this happens for months and in some cases for years. And then you eventually realize that, oh, they were supposed to have been reducing your benefits 3 years ago. And then they just find out. And then what do? They are going to take 50% of your benefit going forward until it's all paid off. That is the new rule. Now, what I'm about to tell you is what you can do about it. If you find yourself in this situation, there are 3 things you can do. The first is the most important. Is if you disagree with it or you think there's a mistake, the letter you're going to get is going to tell you to file an appeal within 60 days. Do not do that. Instead, file an appeal within 30 days of receiving that letter. 30 days is important. Here's why. If you file your appeal within 30 days, it stops all collection efforts. So when you get in the mail and the Social Security Administration is telling you that you have an overpayment situation, the first thing you need to do if you disagree with the amount is to file an appeal immediately within 30 days. Forget what the letter says. It's going to tell you 60 days. File within 30 days, because if you file within 30 days, it stops any collection activity. They cannot cut your benefit in half until they've responded to you. They may take 3 months. They may say 6 months to respond to you. Once they respond to you and they confirm that you indeed owe the money, you have 2 choices. You can file for a waiver and say, hey, I understand I owe the money, but it's been 2 years, it's been 3 years. If you had told me this a month ago or 2 months ago, maybe I could have done something about it. But now, 3 years later, 2 years later, a year later, I cannot afford for you to take 50% of my Social Security check or disability check for the foreseeable future. It's going to economically crush me. It's called applying for a waiver. You are admitting to it, but you're saying that taking the money is going to cause you financial hardship. If you file that waiver, then they will have to review it and get back to you. They rarely approve these waivers, but if you make a good case, they may. And then if you exhaust all those options, then you can appeal to an administrative judge, a Social Security administrative judge. And when you get into that territory, that's your last option. You may want to get an attorney who knows how to work these cases and is familiar with how to file a proper appeal before the judge. Because once the judge rules, it's done. Whatever they say is what's going to happen. And so if you find yourself in this Social Security overpayment issue, it's important to understand that you have options. File a response in 30 days, and then you have a waiver option to file within 30 days, or you can appeal the amount. Whatever it is, you have options. Do not just take it. Do not just take their word for it, because they're going to take half of your check. And they're going to continue to do that for the foreseeable future until all the money you owe is paid off. I've seen people come up with $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 in overpayment, and it may take 5-6 years to clear it all. So it is a serious matter. You cannot wish it away. You have to deal with it, because they are going to take your money. And they're not going to feel any way about it. So that is what I wanted to share with you. Let me look into the comments and see what's happening here. COLA doesn't happen till October. Fake news. I mean, I already said that. I said that was an estimate, and that the official number is going to be announced in October. So I was alerting you to the estimate that have come out from reputable organizations about what that is supposed to be. All right. So here's the thing: we are at the hour mark, and as I mentioned, I am looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. I have more news about Social Security, specifically about how I think that the big, beautiful bill is going to be rolled out, what dates you need to expect things to happen. We actually have a breakdown of how when things are supposed to kick in. So I'm looking forward to sharing that with you. And then most importantly, for those of you who are missing out on the big beautiful bill, I have some thoughts on what can be done to help you. And then lastly, I want to hear from you about inflation. I want to hear from you about price increases. So please let me know in the comment section below. Um, Let me know your rent, if rent has gone up by how much, electricity, because I want to gather this data and put together our own information pool and then share with you about what we're hearing from seniors regarding rent, regarding electricity, regarding food prices, healthcare costs. Any cost that has gone up significantly for you, let me know in the comment section, because we're pulling up our own data and we want to get a sense of, we know what we feel, but it's good to back it up with data. So I want to hear from you about that. And then lastly, if you're interested in joining the private group that we are setting up, I'm going to share that information again. You can sign up. I'm going to put the link in the comment section below. There are 45 spots at the introductory founder price of $10, and I'll put that in the comment section below. As I mentioned, it is an additional thing we're providing. You don't have to do it, but if you want to be part of a community that we're building for seniors that are like-minded on the same journey, that want to go further with us in terms of the content we're providing, then this is for you. But we'll continue to come in every day, create videos for you, and share the content of what we're learning that will help you improve your retirement. So until I see you tomorrow, have a great evening, and I am looking forward to bringing you more tomorrow regarding Social Security and what Congress can do to help you maximize your benefit and your retirement. So thank you for hanging out with me on this Tuesday, July the 22nd. I'll see you all tomorrow.